Hi, thanks for joining for our lesson to practice exploring groups of equal shares to show multiplication. That was our lesson today for Module 8, Lesson 1. We are on page P69 of your More Practice and Homework books. So let's get right to it. I'm going to share my screen with you and show you. Here's our page. All right. So we have the situation. Vanessa has 24 marbles. She gives 3/8 of the marble to her brother Cisco. If you divide Vanessa's marbles into 8 equal groups, how many are in each group? So if she has 24 marbles and we're dividing that into 8 equal groups, how many will be in each? 24 divided by 8 would be 3 marbles. How many marbles does Vanessa give to Cisco? It says to explain. So we talked in class today. We're going to use that denominator of 8 to tell us how many groups we want. If we know that we want 8 groups of 3, I'm going to draw it out over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So there are the 8 equal groups of 3 marbles. Every 3 out of 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Every 3 out of 8, she's giving to her brother. So every 3 out of the 8, she's giving to her brother. How many marbles does she give him? That would be 9 marbles. And I just explained with our model that if we have those 3 groups of 8, then we would have 3 out of every 8 going to Cisco. All right. Same thing here. If we have 1/6 of 18, I talked in class today that of really means multiply in math. So we're really doing 1/6 times 18, but here we have the word of. So if I have 18 of something, I'm looking at that denominator to tell me how many to put in each group. So I'm going to have 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to have 3 groups of 6 to give me my total of 18. 1 out of every 6. So if I have 1/6 of that 18, I have 3. Okay. When Fran began training to become a professional swimmer, she could only swim 2/3 of the number of laps. She can now swim in a session. If Fran can now swim 48 laps in a session, how many laps did she swim when the session began? So what we're really thinking of is she can swim 2/3 when she started, 2/3 of the 48 laps. So I can think of that as 2/3 of the 48. That's a lot to draw out. So I'm not going to draw out the model here. But when I think about 2/3 of 48, we also talked in class, I can put a 1. So 48 times 2 would be 96/3. And then if I do that work, that really says 96 divided by 3. So I can rewrite it for myself if I need to. 3 goes into 9 3 times. Subtract and bring down. 3 goes into 6 2 times. Subtract and bring down. So that means she could only do 38 laps at the beginning of her training. So that's what it would look like if we write it out as an equation. And we'll do more of that in class. We didn't write them out in class. If you drew that out for yourself, great. Like I said, 48 is a lot to draw, though. All right. Zach, Terry, and Paco combined the foreign stamps from their collection for a stamp show. Out of their collections, 4/7 of Zach's stamps, 3/4 of Terry's stamps, and 3/11 of Paco's stamps were from foreign countries. how many stamps were in their display. So I'm going to be explaining as I'm solving. So Zach, 4/7 of 28. So if you think about that, we have groups of 7 and we have a total of 28. So if I wanted to draw it out, I could. So for Zach, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. So I have groups of 7 based on my denominator, 4 out of every 7. 1, 2, 3, 4 in each group of 7. So that would be this amount right here. So of Zach's collection, that would be 16 stamps. If I were writing out that equation, it would be 4/7 of 28, and that would give us 16 stamps. For Terry, oops, I just did that backward. Did I? 4/7? Oh no, Terry, 3/4 of Terry's. Terry had 16. I'm going to put those 16, I'm going to do squares just to keep them separated. I'm going to put those 16 into groups of 4, looking at my denominator. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 3 out of every 4. Every group of 4, I am marking out 3. That would be how many stamps of Terry's? 3, 6, 9, 12 stamps from Terry's group. And then 3/11 from Paco's group. Paco has 22 stamps. I'm going to put them into groups of 11. Let's see. I'm going to use just slashes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there are Paco's stamps, 2 groups of 11 to make 22. 3 out of every 11. I'm going to cross them to make X's. How many of Paco's stamps? 6 stamps for a total of 16 plus 12 plus 6. 6 plus 6 is 12, plus 2 is 14. Regroup. 34 stamps total in their display from foreign countries. All right. So we modeled it to explain how we solved. All right. So then we have some test prep. Let's see how it goes. A bookstore has 52 books about gardening. 3/4 of the books are paperbacks. How many paperback books about gardening does the store have? Again, 52 is a lot to draw out, especially since I'm saying that they're in groups of 4, because 3/4, that's my denominator. If I write it out as an equation, I should have put B for books. 52, we have 3/4 of those 52. So because it's multiplying, I can write it in any order, but 3/4 of the books. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do, as we said in class, if it's a whole number, I'm going to put a 1 under it. I'm going to multiply. Multiplying fractions, I go straight across. No more common denominators. So I would have 156/4. And then I would do 156 divided by 4. 4 goes into 15 3 times. Subtract, bring down. 4 goes into 36 9 times. So we have an answer of 39 of those books are about gardening. So this would be the way we could solve it as an equation. If you drew out the picture, that's okay too. Let's see about this one. Which is 1/7 of 42? So we could draw out 7 in a group until we get to 42. How many groups would that be? How many groups of 7? That would be 6 groups of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, if I imagine I have those 7 groups and those 6 groups and 1 out of every 7, is taken with that 1/7, with that unit fraction. If I imagine there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these rows and 1 in every row, I don't have to necessarily draw them all out because I know that would be 1 in every row. There are 6 rows. That would give me 6. 1/7 of 42 is 6. 1/9 of 63. Same idea. I have groups of 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, because that's my denominator. How many of those groups would I need to get to 63? I would need 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And there's 1 in every one of those groups that I have, 1/9. So that would be a total of 7. All right. Hector originally had $60 in his bank account. After buying some books, Hector now has 3/10 of the original $60. How much does Hector now have in his bank account? So he had $60 and he spent some of it, and now he has 3/10. So if I say he has 3/10 of $60, I could draw out groups of 10, and I would have how many groups of 10? I would have 6 to get me to 60, 3 of each of those. So if I do that, I could have 180 tenths, which would equal 180 divided by 10 is going to give me 18. So if he has 3/10 of $60 left, that means he has not 80. Oh my goodness, he can't end with more than he started off with if he spent it. He would have $18. All right, and last one here before we review the spiral review. A bag has 32 cups of flour. Miriam uses 5/8 of the flour to bake bread. How many cups of flour are left in the bag? So I'm going to model this one out. There are 8 in each group, and I have 32. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I'm going to keep going. 2 more rows of 8. So there would be our model. I have 5 out of every 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in each of these rows of 8, if I have 5, there I have it. This could also be she has 5/8 of 32. And then we would put a 1 under and do the work. How many is that? 5, 10, 15, 20. It says a bag has 32 cups. She used 20. She used 5/8. How many cups are left? 32 minus 20 would be 12 cups. All right, if we're using benchmarks, 4/6 is about, I'm going to say about 1/2. 2/5 is about, that's another 1/2. So we have a total of 1 for our estimate. The copier makes 86 copies in 1 minute. How long will it take to make 2,752 copies? So we want to split that total amount into groups of 86. Let's see, I'm going to go 8. Thinking about that 8 and that 27, I'm going to say 86 can go into 275 about 3 times. It's a guess and check going on here. When I do that work, if I subtract, I get 17. So yes, that was a good guess. I bring down my 2. Looking at just the 8 and the 17, I'm going to say 2 times. 6 times 2 is 12, and that comes out just right. So how long will it take to make those copies? 32 minutes. Okay, that is it for today. Went really well in class. I hope that you understood this lesson as well as it seemed in class. If you are working and you have any questions, make sure you bring them to our next meeting at school. And if there were any challenges, let me know. All right. Thanks again for joining. I'll see you next time.